Hey everyone, I have my window open and I wanted to take advantage of the rain and I wanted to start a new book club. This book is How Emotions Are Made. And it's The Secret Life of the Brain. I think I'm going to switch between whispering, and probably soft spoken. You can see my little candle in the back. And I will switch between this view and then also the camera facing me. I know sometimes people like to see both, so I think for chapter 1 I will just keep the camera facing this way. And then I'll just switch back and forth. It's a little boring at first, which is why I want to read it on here. I think it will help keep me more engaged and focused. And I know it's a really good book. It's informative, and books that are informative, you kind of have to get into it, you know? So let's get into it. And I'll read everything. I love reading, everything. So, okay. How Emotions Are Made. It's like a brain explosion with colors. Fascinating. A thought-provoking journey into emotional science. It's Wall Street Journal. And then a singular book remarkable for the freshness of its ideas and the boldness and clarity with which they are presented. The Scientific American, and it is by Lisa Feldman Barrett. And it says, a brilliant and original book on the science of emotion by the deepest thinker about this topic since Darwin. The science of emotion is in the midst of a resolution on par with the discovery of relativity in physics and natural selection in biology. Leading the charge is psychologist and neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett, whose research overturns the long-standing belief that emotions are automatic, universal, and hardwired in different brain regions. Instead, Barrett shows we construct each instance on emotion through a unique interplay of brain, body, and culture. A lucid report from the cutting edge of emotion science. How Emotions Are Made reveals the profound real-world consequences of this breakthrough for everything from neuroscience and medicine to the legal system and even national security, laying the bare immense implications of our latest and most intimate scientific revolution. Mind-blowing from Ellie, chock full of startling and science-backed findings, and entertaining and engaging read, Forbes. And that is the author, Lisa Feldman Barrett. She is a University Distinguished Professor of Psychology at Northeastern University, with appointments at Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital in psychiatry and radiology. She received NIH Director's Pioneer Award for her research on emotion and in the brain. And she lives in Boston. Do we want to read the praise? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it's just like the same as the back page. Just like how good the book is. It's amazing, whatever. Did I skip something? Yeah. Okay, we'll start with the introduction. Introduction. The 2-year-old Assumption. On December 14th, 2012, the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history took place at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. 26 people inside the school, including 20 children. I need to readjust this. Oh, that's better. Okay, so. Okay, on December 14th, 2012, the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history took place at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. 26 people inside the school, including 20 children, were massacred by a lone gunman. Several weeks after this horror, I watched the government speech on television. The governor of Connecticut, Daniel Malloy, gave his annual State of the State speech on television. He spoke in a strong and animated voice for the first 3 minutes, thanking individuals for their service. And then he began to address the Newton tragedy. We have all walked a very long and dark road together. What we felt Newton is not something we thought possible in any of Connecticut's beautiful towns or cities. And yet, in the midst of one of the worst days of our history, we also saw the best of our state. Teachers and a therapist sacrificed their life protecting their students. As the governor spoke the last 2 words, protecting students, his voice caught in his throat ever so slightly. If you weren't paying close attention, you might have missed it, but that tiny waver devastated me. My stomach instantly knotted into a ball. My eyes flooded the TV. Camera panned to the crowd where other people started to sob as well. As for Governor Malloy, he stopped speaking and was gazing downward. Emotions like Governor Malloy's and mine seemed primal, hardwired into us, reflexively deployed, shared with all of our fellow humans. When triggered, they seem to unleash themselves in each of us, basically in the same way. My sadness was like Governor Malloy's sadness, was like the crowd's sadness. Humanity has understood sadness and other emotions in this way for over 2,000 years. But at the same time, if humanity has learned anything from the centuries of the scientific discovery, is that things aren't always what they appear to be. This theme, this time-hoard story of emotions goes something like this. We have emotions built in from birth. They are distinct, recognizable phenomena inside of us. When something happens in the world, whether it's a gunshot or a flirtatious glance, our emotions come on quickly and automatically, as if someone has flipped a switch. We broadcast emotions on our face. This is by way of smiles, frowns, scowls, or other characteristics, expressions that anyone can easily recognize. Our voices reveal emotions through laughter, shouts, and cries. Our body posture betrays our feelings with every gesture and slouch. Modern science has an account that fits this story, which I call the classical view of emotion. According to this view, the waver in Governor Malloy's voice launched a chain reaction that began in my brain. A particular set of neurons, call it the sadness circuit, leaped into action and caused my face and body to respond in a certain specific way. My brow furrowed. My shoulders stooped, and I cried. This proposed circuit also triggered physical changes inside my body, causing my blood vessels to constrict, heart rate to speed up, sweat glands to activate, blood vessels. Activate. This collection of movements on the inside and outside are said to be like a fingerprint that uniquely identifies sadness, much like your own fingerprint uniquely identify you. The classical view of emotion that we have holds many emotion circuits in our brains, and each is said to cause a distinct set of changes. That is a fingerprint. Perhaps an annoying coworker triggers you, and in the heat of the moment, your blood pressure rises. You scowl and you yell. Feel the heat of fury. Or an alarming news story triggers your fear neurons, so your heart races. You freeze and you feel a flash of dread. Because we experience anger, of happiness, surprise, and other emotions as clear and identifiable as states of being, it seems reasonable to assume that each emotion has a defining underlying pattern in the brain and in the body. And it says here, when I use the body in this book, I am excluding the brain. In this sentiment, your brain tells your body to move. To refer to the entire body, including the brain, we write the anatomical body. Emotions, according to the classical view, are artifacts of evolution, having long ago been advantageous for survival, are now a fixed component of our biological nature. As such, they are universal. People of every age and every culture and every part of the world should experience sadness more or less as you do. And more or less as did in hominin ancestors who roamed the African savanna millions of years ago. I say more or less because no one believes that faces, bodies, and brain activity look exactly the same each time someone is sad. Your heart rate and breathing and blood flow won't always change by the same amount. Your brow might furrow slightly or less by custom or chance. It says chance for custom, not me changing the words. Okay. Emotions are thus thought to be kind of a brute reflex, very often at odds with our rationality. The primitive part of your brain wants to tell you you're a boss, he's an idiot, but your deliberative side knows that doing so would get you fired, so you restrain yourself. This kind of internal battle between emotion and reason is one of the great narratives of Western civilization. It helps you define as a human. Without rationality, why does it look like that? Without rationality, I got a new phone, by the way. It's the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so I don't know if it's my lighting. It's probably my lighting, but it looks like, it doesn't look terrible, but anyways, where were we? Without rationality, you are merely an emotional beast. The view of emotions has been around for millennia in various forms. Plato believed a version of it, so did Hippocrates, Aristotle, the Buddha, Rene Descartes, Sigmund Freud, and Charles Darwin. Today, prominent thinkers such as Steven Pinker, Paul Ekman, and the Dalai Lama also offer up descriptions of emotions rooted in the classical view. The classical view is found in virtually every introductory college textbook on psychology and throughout American hang posters, displaying the smiles, frowns, and pouts that are supposed to be the universal language of the face for recognizing emotions. Facebook even commissioned a set of emoticons inspired by Darwin's writings. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to get a good. I mean, you guys don't really need to see it because when it's facing me, you're not going to see the words anyways, but while it's facing this way, it's might as well be as clear as it can be. Okay, where were we? Oh, I wish it could just stay like this. It's perfect. Oh, and of course, we're at the end, so it's going to change. Anyways, so we're on the last paragraph here. The classical view is also entrenched in our culture. Television shows like Lie to Me and Daredevil are predicted on the assumption that your innermost feelings are exposed by your heart rate or your facial expressions, movements. Sesame Street teaches children that emotions in the face and body. Oh, why is it not? It's annoying. Focus. Okay. Okay, Sesame Street teaches children that emotions are distinct things inside of us seeking expression in the face and the body, as does the Pixar movie Inside Out. Companies like Affectiva and Real Eyes offer to help businesses detect their customers' feelings through emotion analytics. In the NBA draft and the Milwaukee Bucks evaluate a player's psychological character and personality. Choose and assess team chemistry from facial expressions. And for several decades, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, based some of its advanced agent training on the classical view. Okay, I'm going to end this here. I'm going to finish tomorrow. And I'm going to set my tripod up and read it facing me because it's a lot easier when I don't have to hold the camera and I can just hold the book and read, and I'll be reading better. So yeah, and I'll pick up where we left off, so don't even worry. Good night.